Pakistan to share his views on the importance of the defense state and other bilateral avenues of Pakistani-Afghani relations.
Worthy Chief Guest, Brigadier Hathi, ambassadors, defense attachés, members of the Pakistani community, all guests here. I request all of you to sit down at the back. The president of the social club may kindly sit down. I'd like to explain to you a bit about why we celebrate this particular day on the 6th of September. Due to exigencies of time, we were a bit late this time. But this day is very important for us, one. And number two, I think the world maybe does not realize the sacrifices that the nation of Pakistan has given, as Taiba just said, not only for safeguarding every inch of Pakistani soil, but also for being in various parts of life, Pakistan's life, being the final frontier of the free world. It was in Afghanistan, being the final frontier of Islamic moderation, being the final frontier against Alqaedas. Only 1/100th of Pakistan's shaheeds you see here in their pictures, some in the background. There are so many of them, maybe in thousands of hundreds of thousands, who gave sacrifices not only for Pakistan's territorial integrity, but also for being a center of world peace and moderation, which sometimes our friends tend to forget. And it's not my job description to remind you, but being a student of history, you'll have to bear with me for 15 minutes, when I'll try my best to take you through in an unbiased manner, not in a rhetorical manner, but in an unbiased manner. So morality, justice, stability in the world. I'll explain the last bastion against Al-Qaeda and ISIS. So Pakistan is on the frontier in South Asia. Before it, had Pakistan not been here, and these shaheeds had not been here, who targeted Al-Qaeda with Western help, but sacrifices of life were given by us. And we are at the borderline of ISIS also. So it's not just Pakistani soil we protect the world. State disintegration. There was a time after 9/11, in the initial decade of the 2000s, when states around Afghanistan were under threat of disintegration. The same was in 1979. In both times, there's some uniformed Pakistani officers sitting here, some retired Pakistani Army officers, Navy officers, Air Force officers, citizens of Pakistan who stood up for the free world. Democracy and constitutionalism, we struggle. You hear in the news, we struggle a lot. But try to understand that this state is a center of Islamic politics, of Western politics, and faces a 2 or 3 border situation frequently in its lifetime. So these challenges are enough to be too much of a challenge, but we haven't let it. Moderation, modernity, Islam coexisting in a state. Very few examples. Some of my honored ambassadors sitting in these tables represent these states, but they don't have 2 border situations or Al-Qaeda lurking around them. An army that was like the USSR armies in the Cold War days, trained for conventional warfare, has had to transform itself into counter-terrorism operation. It's a very, very difficult task. And not only we have done that, we've broken the back of terrorists around us. And a country that has in parts been helped by the world, but in parts been ditched by the world. But we still will do that. As luck would have it, while fighting for the free world, now we have problems in the north and in Balochistan, but we have countered them very well. Pakistan is stable, safe, economically on the rise. Just in case you needed reminding of Alqaeda activity and ISIS activity, and just in case you need to put yourself at our place. For one, the state of Pakistan would not like to be invaded and eaten up. Period. We'll die 1,000 times, but we'll live in dignity, in peace, and in our frontiers. We don't want to be invaded. We'll break the teeth of any invader. Probably this is a lesson why you need to understand that Pakistan became nuclear. Pakistan is proud of being nuclear, and Pakistan needs nuclear deterrence for its borders. I don't need to explain to you, all of you are knowledgeable, that who gave up nuclear weapons, when, and what happened to that state. We don't want this to. The green is what Palestine was in 1945. We've eaten up all of Palestine, just eaten it up. And if eating it up was not enough, we're doing this. We love the Palestinians just as the Omani state and the Omani people do. We are with you. In fact, our officers talk about the fact that the passion they see in Oman for Palestinian plight, we don't want to face this. So we've eaten everything up, and now you're bombing the smithereens out of them. And we don't want this to be part of our country. This is one part of Kashmir which was denied to us. Remember that there were 600 states. 599 went according to their being Muslims or non-Muslims, except one state. You don't want that. Here at the top, when Pakistan did not have an army, its irregulars and others at that time took what they call now Azad Kashmir, or parts of Kashmir that is with Pakistan. And I shudder to think of it. Had we not done that, that Kashmir would have been denied to us too by the world. We're very close to the brotherly country of Oman, strategically placed. We cooperate, we talk in all spheres of defense. And just as an aside, I'd like to tell you that in these very halls, under these very lights, we're going to have the first ever Oman-Pakistan Expo, in which 60 of the top Pakistan business houses are going to set themselves up here for 2 days to start on what has been lacking, that is an deep economic relationship. The founder of Pakistan was found constitutionally, democracy, but the moment it was born, that's why these shaheeds you see, we faced refugee influx from all sides, and we were in a neighborhood, you can't change geography. That was the other thing. Sometimes, because like other Muslim states, we are very weak in presenting our narrative to the world. So sometimes you think probably Pakistan is a bit too harsh or militaristic and all that. These are the river waters into Pakistan. The moment we were born, the river waters were stopped. Stopped. The British were there. One of the finest British generals, Claude Auchinleck, and he doffed his cap off and went away. And he said, I can't save Pakistan. And we are now being threatened again by water wars. We'll face them like we faced everything else. We are fine. We know how to deal with them. So in the beginning, when we had existential troubles, we signed up with the Western world. We are proud of it. It was not a mistake. I still think we would like to be part of the free world's endeavor for democracy and modernity and moderation. And we had a disadvantageous deal on water. We took it. But I'd like to emphasize to you today that for how many years? For 13 plus 5, 18 years, we kept on knocking on the doors of the UN on morality, on justice, trying to get what was ours. And we made, I think personally, some crucial mistakes of not learning what the world was. We did not have an ounce of a rupee in our bank accounts when we were born. And an opposition politician, or the Mahatma Gandhi, he undertook a fast unto death because he was a moralist and he could not follow the crowd to get Pakistan's shares released so that Pakistan could pay for water, for paper, for pens. And along with him, there's somebody that the Pakistanis have forgotten because our history is also not written correctly. This is Hussain Shaheed Sohibasi, who was fasting with Gandhiji to get our shares. This was Auchinleck. He said, Pakistan cannot get weapons. So, just as we were being born and being threatened, we did not have an army, we did not have uniforms, we did not have arms, we did not have bullets, we did not have guns. And we were threatened. We, with the help of the West, and we are very thankful for that, we built one of the finest armies of the world. And we built it with the help of our other friends whose ambassadors are sitting here, who helped us in wars. The first test of whether we were militaristic or not came in 1962, when our two big neighbors started fighting with each other. And that Kashmir, which is close to our heart because many of us are Kashmiris. We can't see them not having normal lives. So we had a chance, but at that time our dear friends, Britain and the US said, look, this is a fight against communism. Don't go inside. Kashmir was undefended. And we believed international diplomacy and we believed everything and we let go. We remained aloof like a good country, quote unquote good country. Nothing happened. There are so many shaheeds up there. All of them have a life story. All of them have children. All of them have grandchildren. All of them have troubles. All of them have tears and joys in their lives. I can't tell you. But this was one of the ones in Lahore where a major of the Pakistan army defended with 3 companies. He defended against divisions. So he's one of the shaheeds, that Major Aziz Bhatti that we have. In 1965, when we were about to win a war, again we displayed restraint because we did not want that we should have a militaristic solution. We made a big mistake. This is my personal opinion. So you have the Blitzkriegers, you have the students of World War I, II. We stopped. We did not take the highway into Kashmir. Then in 1971, we made mistakes. We made mistakes But hundreds of thousands of non-state actors are pulled on us. And you had a division, and God bless Bangladesh. We think of it of being responsible for its freedom and independence, which they value. They're a great country. We became frontline in 1979. God knows being frontline is not fun. It affects you. And I pray that none of you become frontline ever. So we hosted the largest number of refugees in any country of the world. We still host them, from 5 million to 3 million. Then we became frontline again in 2001, when OBL attacked the US. In between this, we are very proud, we don't shy of the fact that despite the whole world wanting us not to become nuclear, we became the first Islamic country to cross the threshold. We are proud of it. None of us, 24 crores of us, none of us believed that we could have taken any other path. Had we taken any other path, maybe our maps would have been different. We have excellent, pardon a spelling mistake. I'm a teacher, I can't let go of spelling mistakes. We were recently threatened. We were bombarded. We shot down a plane. We returned the pilot. We're fine. So the latest threat to our sovereignty, we dealt with it. If we are threatened again, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it with honor, grace, with our shaheeds, with our civilians, with our state. We won't let anybody make an example, a bad example out of us. We'll do otherwise. Then when you have this narrative of Pakistan being militaristic and all that, there were 2 or 3 times in history when we went back on our principal stand on Kashmir. And we said, let's give our larger neighbor a fallback plan. Let's have a fallback plan. Let our egos not be hurt, let their egos not be hurt, and let the Kashmiri children, women and men live normal lives. We came close. I will pay homage to Prime Minister Vajpayee, but somehow we could never cross the threshold. Never. And this is what we got in return. We love our peacekeepers. We and India, our larger neighbor, every year are the largest. Sometimes they become the largest UN peacekeepers, sometimes we do. We love it. We have embraced our blue berets, have embraced Shahadat, being blue berets, wearing the UN's berets. I have no compunction, no problems in admitting my personal and my nation's personal pride in my intelligence agency. My intelligence agency, which is the ISI and other intelligence agencies, they first supported the free world, gave so many lives, the unknown intelligence officer, who doesn't get decorated. And then it was us who broke the back of Alqaeda in South Asia. We did it. We don't claim credit for it sometimes. We did it. It's the same. Pakistan's like every other country. We have an intelligence agency. We're proud of it. It also safeguards Pakistan's modernity, Pakistan's freedoms, Pakistan's education. Like I told you, the reward we sometimes get for doing good things is we are threatened, but we are fine. We have saved the territorial integrity of Afghanistan twice in their history. Once in 1979 with the US and the Western world, and now again. And I'll tell you that had the Western world listened to us and not become a victim of the 24-hour news cycle and fake reports, they would have saved trillions of dollars. And you know, when you categorize the Taliban, this is Pakistan's female foreign minister, advisor, who is meeting who you call the mullahs or the people. Is something wrong? Okay. So we interact with them. This is a foreign minister, a deputy foreign minister. She went alone. She was so well respected there. And our Navy. I could talk about our Navy and Aman and peace and maritime frontiers and peacetime operations and a crime-free waters and the cooperation we have with Oman and the ships which come and how we sail together, how we carry each other's dead back to their country, and how we rescue each other's citizens in distress. But then we are bigger than that. Pakistan is bigger than that. When the world did not listen to us, I'm sorry, can't help but retorting to the world too. The moment we become less important, you impose sanctions on us. Sanctions against the nuclear program. If there is proof that sanctions don't work, I'm living proof. We have very good nuclear capability. So sanctions don't really work. You cannot impose an army over a nation which doesn't want that army. Spend billions of dollars, do whatever you want. Armies come from within. Defense comes from within. The heart comes from within. You cannot transplant armies like liver transplants. This is not my money, but figures are a bit too high. And I tell you, I was part of discussions. Some things we said openly. Other things our top military officers in secret huddles with the military officers of the world said, don't waste money on this. And we were labeled sometimes one thing, sometimes another thing. We had the last laugh, although you spent the money. When the world does not listen to us, you think that you let conflicts fester, wounds fester, people suffer, people cry, and one day you'll conquer them. You've had a horrific example in Gaza. I'm afraid the world conscience has been exposed in Gaza and in Kashmir. Yes, fallback positions, come back, but solve them. You can't let festering wounds in the world. This was when we were trying to tell the world that you cannot freeze the assets of the new Taliban government in Afghanistan. I don't know whether, I think there's a new ambassador who's coming. I don't know whether he's here today or not. We were in the forefront, and Ambassador Harthi, Excellency, was there. He attended it. And Oman and us were on the same page that you cannot target a state and hope that it will wither away. It won't. Even if you have to moderate their behavior, you have to talk to them. Right? So for once, although we might not be the most intellectual country or anything of that, so try listening to us. The world will have less problems. I'm in Oman. I attend track 2 diplomacy. Earlier, it used to, Excellency, take place in the Crown Plaza Hotel. Now it has gone to higher places. Now it takes which is the hotel with the name of a B. Your Country, Excellency. These are examples where the world has paid tribute to Oman for being an oasis of peace. I salute you, given your size, but your diplomacy as a center of peace is immense. Other examples. So, the Shaheeds, the armed forces, the Navy, the Air Force, Pakistan. Pakistan is more than a country that tries to save its own borders. We try to help the world do the right thing. We have our compulsions. We are proud of our armed forces. We are proud of our nationhood. We are proud of our integrity. We are proud of our defense. We are proud of our nukes, our nuclear deterrent. So this is what this day is about. It's not just about making typical speeches or those things. Thank you for listening to me, and I wish you all the best.